each time, starting with statement assumption. All right, this is a revision class, but what is an assumption? Something which is taken for granted in a sentence. What an author, speaker, argument assumes or takes for granted. If it is a statement, then what is taken for granted in the statement? If it's a paragraph, then an assumption is the blank between the premise and the conclusion. It is the unstated premise. All right. One example I give students to understand this assumption question perfectly is a question based on, all right, let's say I come to class and I say, today I'm not going to talk about CAT 2023. The moment I've made this statement, the question comes, what is the assumption in this statement? Her CAT exam went bad. She didn't do well in CAT. She doesn't know the CAT exam, so she is only good for SNAP. No, those are your conclusions. My assumption is some of you are going to talk about CAT. Will this be relevant for that exam as well? Yes, because that exam has critical reasoning, and these are the basics of critical reasoning which will help you in any exam henceforth. What we are doing today is going to be useful. That the question degree of difficulty is a little more, but the statement, the question type is the same. That asks mostly inference and conclusion questions, some assumption questions, paragraph based, some strengthening, some weakening. So we're going to be looking at all those. All right, and we'll also be doing a that crash course, of course. All right, so what is taken for granted? All right, now let me give you the first question of the day. You know that the question is always standard. The standard question is, a statement is followed by two assumptions. Identify the assumption that is implicit in the given statement and mark your answer according to the given code. And the code, oh, I forgot to put my phone on silent and people will start calling. All right, read the question, please. I'm sorry. I got really late. You know why I got late? I was attending the Bangalore Lit Fest. I heard Ramchandra Guha and I did it. That is why I was late. I came and I immediately, okay, let me put the sound on zero, call volume zero, link volume zero, everything is zero, so we will not be bothered. All right, let's start. Fully realizing the potential of emerging technologies in the military requires altering existing organizations and approaches. This is the statement. Fully realizing the potential of emerging technology in the military requires altering existing organizations and approaches. What is the assumption here? Assume one person is saying this. What is he or she assuming in making this statement? What is the implicit assumption? The existing organizations and approaches are inadequate to fully realize the potential of emerging technologies. Second, emerging technologies in the military are desirable. Mark A if only one is implicit, taken for granted. 2 if B if only 2 is implicit. C if both are, and D if neither is. Quickly give me your answers. Akanksha, Kavish, Sonali all say it is C. What about the people on the app? I need the answers quickly. B. Ankit thinks it's B, that is only 2. Tanisha. All right. For those of you who marked B, all right, when you say to fully realize the potential, we need to alter existing organizations. Isn't that the statement restated, Ankit? To fully realize the potential of emerging technologies in the military, we need to alter the existing organizations and approaches. So, what is assumed? What is there now? cannot fully realize it, so we need to alter it. So one is implicit. Second one, why are we talking of emerging technologies in the military? Because it must be good, otherwise why are we talking about it? So both are implicit. Clear? This is a classic assumption question. I gave it so you understand exactly how to look at an assumption question. Now let us look at the next one. This is a head. So normally what do they give you in assumption questions? Notices, instructions, rules, headlines, or a statement which is a cause and effect. All right. So a headline is generally a commonly asked question type. Very easy to figure it out. So if you don't know, you'll learn today. Ongoing proceedings before the Supreme Court raise concerns about the conduct of some governors. You must have read this in the editorial. Which governors we are talking about also you must be aware. All right, please give me the question number. All right. Gopi, Kartikeyan, Vanshita, give me the question number. Okay, Kavish has given. He says it's only A. Vanshita, is it for question 2? Yeah, give me answers for question 2 quickly. Tanisha thinks it's A quickly. Okay, so ongoing proceedings before the Supreme Court. There are proceedings going on in the Supreme Court. Raises concerns about the conduct of some governors. The conduct of some governors has been a cause of concern. ये तो दोनों है information in this sentence. Now, whether all governors are acting increasingly unconstitutionally, we don't know. All we know is yes, the conduct of some governors, since the statement has restricted it to some, you cannot make the assumption about all governors. The statement's limit is restricted to some governors. So your assumption is also, assumption is the basis. It cannot go beyond the statement. Okay, what is implicit means what is information contained in the statement is what you're looking at. All right. So the behavior of some conduct of some governors has been a cause of concern. That you can say, but you can't say they all have been acting unconstitutionally, right? So the correct answer is A. Most assumption questions are of this degree of difficulty if they are statement assumption questions. If the assumption questions in critical reasoning, I have given you that also. It will be a little more difficult. Actually, you need to know in any paragraph they give you and ask you an assumption. Always remember, assumptions are the basis of a conclusion. Identify the conclusion in the paragraph. Your assumption and your conclusion will have the same or similar wording, same terms, similar terms. All right, because they look similar, students think of that it's a restatement. It isn't. So I'll tell you the difference between a restatement and an assumption. All right, let's go to question 3. Assumption, statement assumption question ऐसे ही आता है. You know what to do. I told you generally statement assumption questions would be on uh, existence or non-existence of something. So if we say like India needs a new coach. The Indian cricket team needs a new foreign coach. That means at present it doesn't have a foreign coach. If an adjective is used, okay, I attended a dog show. I've been very busy. I woke up in the morning, finished a lot of mocks and questions. Then I went to a dog show. I love dogs. I'm crazy about dogs. I went to a dog show and they were all so cute. The cute dog, oh, so many of them were so friendly. I felt like I was in heaven. I think that's my idea of heaven, having lots of friendly dogs all around you. So if I say the cute little dog ran into the room, assumption the dog is cute, the dog is little. It's given in the adjective. My assumption is that it could be the, in your view, it could be the ugliest dog in the world. All right. Generally, assumption questions are on notices, on instructions, Okay, leave your footwear outside the computer lab. Why do they do that? I don't know, but yeah, I guess computers, there shouldn't be dust. So whenever there's a computer lab, people leave their footwear outside and go in bare feet. Okay, and then you'll say why? Okay, people may walk into the computer room with slippers. People will heed the notice is an assumption, but people will not read the notice is not an assumption. All right, or if it's a solution to a problem, I'll say to control the traffic situation in Bangalore, I got caught in it for an hour in the evening. We need to have more public transport buses. We need more buses. We don't have enough public transport here, so everybody goes in a car, then there are hundreds of cars on the road. So if I say this, I think that having more buses can solve the problem, only then I'm suggesting it. Clear? All right. Now let's go to a statement conclusion question. What is the rule for a conclusion? A conclusion has to be 100% true based on what is given. If it is a may be true, may not be true option, the moment you look at an option and you say, ये हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी हो सकता है, then that is not a conclusion. Clear? This is a syllogism. This is a Venn diagram based question, but you don't need a Venn diagram for this. Voice is too low for you or for everybody. Is my am I audible? Am I audible on YT app? If I'm not, I'll tell my tech team to look into it. Okay, maybe you should refresh, Arun. All right, quickly tell me the answer to question 3. इसमें Venn diagram नहीं भी चाहिए, but we'll do it with Venn diagram, without it also. It's an easy question. But I have seen in Snap, there are years when they give you 2 or 3 questions like this, and there are years when they don't give at all. Okay, I don't know which year this year comes. Okay, 23 falls into which category? Syllogism, Venn diagram wala year hai ya no Venn diagram wala hai? All right, quickly give me the answer to this. Some doctors are fools. Joshi is a doctor. Therefore, can you say Joshi is a fool, or some fools are doctors? Is it A, B, C, or D? Sonali is already given the answer. Akanksha has given the answer. Parma Kartikeyan, is that 3 or not? I assume it's 3. Yes, Kavish, 3. They say it's B. B, all of you clear? Okay. Some doctors are fools. Joshi is a doctor, but Joshi यहाँ है कि यहाँ है पता नहीं. But if some doctors are fool, definitely some fools are doctors. All right, clear? Okay, good. Most of your syllogism questions would be sum and all. Okay. Just remember, some doctors are fools does not mean some doctors are not fools. That is not the correct answer. All right. Another conclusion question. Actually, this is a past year SIMBI question only. Past year SNAP question only. The reason I gave it, many of you got this wrong. Well, many of your friends, people who wrote the test before you, way back, 20, I don't know, 16, 15, kabhi ka tha. One can master the English language only through extensive reading and constant use of the language in writing and in everyday speaking. इसको simplify करो. You can master English only through reading, constant use, writing and speaking. Reading, writing, speaking, extensive reading, constant writing, constant speaking. Okay? Based on this, which of the conclusions definitely follow? Question 4, please mark the question number. Okay? A, B, C, D, I can't figure out which answer. Is it A, only one? Is it B, people who don't read English books can't master the language fully? Is it B, only reading is not enough? One needs to practice speaking and writing in the language to master it. Is it both, or is it neither? Okay, this is an actual question. इतना easy आता है, it comes easy, but under time pressure, the same. See, when we'll get our cat answer papers. When you look at the question, I feel cringy at time. How did I make a mistake here? What happens? Under exam pressure, you make mistakes. Yeah, so both, if you can master it only through reading, writing and speaking. So if you do not read, you can't master it completely. Not master it fully, he is written, that's what makes it correct. And only reading is not enough, reading he says, and writing and speaking also. So both are correct. Option C, excellent. Another question. Okay. Uh, some books say this is a symbiosis question, some books say this is a banking question, whatever it is. Okay, it doesn't matter. I like the idea behind this question. How students may get fooled if they don't read carefully. There is nothing else in this question. Of all the television sets manufactured in India, the Solar brand has the largest sale. Okay, this is not my language, question setter's language. Okay, so sometimes you say, oh my god, can't I phrase this better? But I say no, let it be like that. Of all the television sets manufactured in India, the Solar brand has the largest sale. Rephrase it, simplify it, and tell me among both the conclusion which one follows. Give the question number, please. The volume of sales of all the brands of television sets manufactured in India is known. The production of no other television set in India is as large as that of Solar. Solar, the company, that's why it is in quotes. Question 5. Akanksha and Kartikeyan, fastest finger, they both got that answer. Let me see some more here. B, question 5, Tanisha says, Kartikeyan and Saroj and Akanksha thinks it's A. Tanisha, what do you think? Navneet also thinks it's A. Rohini thinks it's A. Now, Tanisha, go back and see why are they all saying A? मैं अकेली क्यों भी बोल रही हूँ? What is the mistake with B? नहीं, you got a friend in Shweta. All right. What what is the passage talking about? Sales or production same है क्या? I can produce a million TV sets but manage to sell only a few. Correct? He is selling Solar has the largest sale, does not make Solar the largest producer of TV sets. Some other company may produce more TV sets than Solar but sell fewer. Got it? All those who marked B, Shweta, Ayushi, Tanisha, did you realize your mistake? The option B was given for careless mistakes like this. The statement says largest sale, number of sets of television sets, highest. I won't say largest, highest. Okay, Solar has the highest sales numbers, but that doesn't mean it is producing the largest, highest number of sets. So just the word, one word, if you're careless, you get your answer wrong. Not that you didn't study, not that you didn't know the basics. All right, that is why it is one of my favorite questions. गलती सबसे होती है, yeah, होती है, but you shouldn't. You come out of the hall and you feel miserable. Oh yeah, really, I made this mistake. That shouldn't happen. Once they said aluminium is the most preferred metal for making aeroplanes. All right. And the assumption said aluminium is the best metal for making uh, aeroplanes. May not be the best, most preferred. People prefer to make it with aluminum. I may prefer it because it's cheaper. Not necessarily that it's the best metal. Maybe gold is better. Who knows? But I can't afford to build it with gold. I'm just saying. So most preferred doesn't make it the best. So look at the words used in the argument. Say it in your mind one more time so that you rephrase it. You know exactly the keywords. Then you will not make a mistake. And these questions, uh, you will not forgive yourself if you make a mistake because they are simple questions. Cause and effect. Let me just tell you. Cause and effect question mein there is a code given. There are two sentences given to you. They'll say find out if there is a cause and effect relationship between the sentence. Then mark according to the code given. A is the cause, B is the effect, B is the cause, A is the effect. How do you find it? If you say because. Alright, or if you say thus. I find the thus rule better. Alright, it was raining, so therefore people didn't step out of the house. Okay, makes sense. Alright, so put a therefore and a thus before the sentence that you think is the effect, and then you will get an idea. Okay, alright. Second thing, there will be sometimes they give you an option, mark C if both are independent causes. Okay, this must have been told to you in class also. There is no such thing as an independent cause. The moment you are calling it a cause, you must know what is it causing, then you must know its effect. So if it is independent, the two statements are not related to each other, then the answer is independent effects. One answer. Or effects of independent causes. Okay. She had a headache, she went home early. दोनों को मिला के you'll say, oh, maybe she was not feeling well, so she went home early. All right. She had a headache. Okay. Someone else broke the world record for athletics. Usain Bolt. Or Virat Kohli became the highest run getter in ODI history. Whatever. If I say this, you know the sentences are unrelated. Then you could call them independent effects or independent causes. That's what most students ask. All right. But yes, a couple of cause and effect questions do come once in a while. So remember, if you don't know its effects, you can't call it a cause. If you call it a cause, I'll say, what did it cause? So how are you calling it a cause? So when you don't know anything about the statement, it's an independent effect. Generally conclusion ज्यादा आता है, assumption आता है, statement assumption, statement conclusion, strong and weak argument, ये तीन आते हैं. Cause and course of action आता है. Cause and effect भी जान लो, because you will make a mistake here if they ask you. आपको हर question type जानना चाहिए in LR. Every question type. Ashish, maybe only your problem. Everyone else can hear me. All right? Maybe your problem only. I don't know. I am speaking very loud. Okay, and others can hear me. They've given me the go ahead audible. Okay? So, Ashish, no, it can never be independent causes, Ankit. कैसा है कि क्या cause किया आपको पता नहीं है. So, better call it an independent effect. If you call it a cause, what is its effect? You have to say. So a normal statement is treated like an effect. Understood? Only for this question itself, this you need to understand. Then one of the options will be either a cause or an effect. ऐसा कैसे होता है? Or effects of a common cause. That is possible. All right. Question 6. I'm getting answers for B. Navneet, question number, please. Mention the question number. All right. Now, rate of crime in the city is very low. Therefore, the police are very efficient. Or the police are very efficient. Therefore, the rate of crime is very low. Police are efficient. Therefore, the rate of crime is very low. All right. So, B is the cause. Second statement is the cause, and 1 is the effect. Clear? All right. So cause and effect समझ गए? Not, as I said, not very frequently asked, but just know the rules so that आ गया तो correct आ जाएगा. Course of action is asked. Course of action is asked in all the exams that you're going to be writing from now on. In that, decision making is nothing but a harder version of course of action. All right. The same principle is there. We will be doing decision making for that also. Okay. All right. In course of action, what happens? A statement is given which has a problem or a situation which needs some sort of a solution. You have to find out which course of action will improve the situation or solve the problem. The answer that you choose should be logical and practical. यही दो चाहिए. Logical and practical. Logical means it should be fair according to something which is acceptable in today's society. Got it? So, read. Most of those who study in premier medical colleges in India migrate to developed nations for better prospects in their professional pursuits. It is true for not just medical colleges, also for engineering colleges, also for MBAs. But here the statement tells us about only medical colleges, so let's read only. Okay. Course of action, how to. So, what is the problem? That our trained medical students are going off abroad. Okay, so what is the course of action? What would you suggest is the action to be taken to improve this situation or solve this problem? A. All the students joining these colleges should be asked to sign a bond at the time of admission that they will remain in India at least 10 years after they complete their medical education. Second, all the students who plan to emigrate should be asked to pay the cost of their professional education, which the government subsidizes. Okay, government subsidizes all professional college education. A huge part of it is taxpayers' money. So give that back, and then you can go abroad. Okay, all right. Why is it? Uh, Many have written 7 ke liye D. All right. Some of you have written B and somebody has said C. Acha, the first statement, is it democratic? Is it practical? Is it logical that a student of a medical college, medical college students graduate 2 years after normal engineering college students in India? In the US, they study all their life. उनका कुछ प्री मेडिकल है 7 साल 10 साल 15 साल लगता ही रहता है. But let's say in India, uh, 5 years of MBBS. Okay, let's say they've done MD also 2 years or 7 years. Do you think you can shackle? Is it practical and logical to shackle a youngster and saying you can't go 10 years? You have to stay here. I mean, is that fair? Is it modern? What modern democratic principles go with? No. But the biggest, how is this a problem? You get a seat in a medical college, you are depriving another student from getting a seat in a medical college. Why are you getting a seat in a medical college, engineering college? Because it's a professional course and professionals are required in the country. The state is paying for your education at least 30%, which is the taxpayers' money. Now, what you have got in your education, you are not giving back to society, but you have got your education through them, the taxpayers' money. That money is going when you're going abroad. So the only thing is, ठीक है, हमने आपकी education, the lost seat is gone. The person who lost, you also benefited from it. You became a doctor or an engineer, but at least the subsidized part of the education, give it back, because you're going abroad. Many people do it. By the way, companies also do that. They have a bond with you that you have to stay in a company for 3 years. If you don't, then you have to give a certain amount of money. 10 years is the problem here. 2 years, 3 years would have been reasonable, not 10 years. All right. But asking the student to pay back in terms of the subsidy is so that at least the money spent by the government on your behalf, and that is taxpayers' money, is at least returned so some other student can get it later. All right. Now, this is a very subjective question. All right. We have to be as objective as possible to judge an argument as a strong or weak. All right. So, what is the rule? What is given to you is a statement. The statement will be actually in the form of a question. Should cricket matches be banned in India? Should Virat Kohli be made the president of India? ऐसा ही question आता है. Well, not exactly. Okay, should dogs be called the national animal of India? Any question like that. Ashish, when he goes abroad, they sign saying within a year we'll pay back, and they do. Generally, they do. Stipend जो मिलता है ना abroad is enough. Within 4 months you can save and send back. So the student again signs a bond saying he will pay back within. There's normally like a loan scheme. There is a payback scheme given. All right. Kartikeyan, the sentence refers to medical students only. All right. Maybe that was my mistake in writing it. Okay, then my bad. My bad is wrong English. I shouldn't use it. My mistake. My bad is Chinese people in America not knowing how to speak English used to say my bad for my mistake, and that became common jargon. Okay, and as an English teacher, I should not use it. All right. So, what is a strong argument? There is a question asked followed by two arguments. They will either support what has been asked, yes, it should be done, or disagree. Both can be yes, both can be no. It's There is no rule that both the arguments given to you will be, one will be yes, one will be no. Both can be yes, both can be no. One yes and one no is the common norm. But remember, this yes or no has to be supported or substantiated with a reason. Why do you think so? And that reason that is given, here's where the subjective part comes in. That reason that is given has to be again logical, commonly aligning with the common norms of society. Like one year they say, should girls learn martial arts? Okay, one banking exam or something. I don't remember which exam. All right, a little bit of it is, but if you think it is reasonable, like, is it reasonable that a student is asked to pay back the amount that was subsidized? Yes, it is reasonable. Then you say yes. What if the student can't afford it? What the next step hai? He can tell, then they'll say, okay, then work for a few years or give this. But the key is, do you think it is fair to ask a student to return the subsidized part of his fees if he wants to emigrate to another country and serve in another country? Logical, practical, therefore you say yes. Understood? So, in a strong and weak argument, you use the same logic. Is it logical? Is it rational? Is it acceptable? Should girls learn martial arts? Yes, they should learn martial arts because in today's society, it's very, a girl should have self confidence, she should know self defense techniques. Fine, strong argument. No, it will affect feminine grace. ये कैसा आंसर हुआ? Reason है. The argument has given a reason. No, no, no. Girls doing karate and judo affects their feminine grace. Girls shouldn't do such things. That the reason is there, but that reason that is given is stupid, to say the least. Therefore, you will not accept it. Okay, so it has the structure of a strong argument, but the content is useless. Okay, so that is where the subjectivity comes in. In many cases, you may think, this is rational. In some things, you will say this is not. Now, in some books, some schools of thought, one of my colleagues says that you assume that the reason given is correct, in which case all arguments are strong. So I don't go with the school which says you assume that the reason given is correct. Should something be banned? Yes, it's the should military training be made compulsory in India? Okay, one option says yes, it is the only way to inculcate discipline among youngsters. First question, that is not the only way. By telling everybody join the army, is that the only way to inculcate discipline? Agar, if you assume that is the correct, that reason given is correct, then that becomes a strong argument, but that's not correct. The reason is stupid. There are other ways in which one can inculcate discipline. Making military service mandatory is not about discipline. There are other reasons why it should be made mandatory, if at all. Got it? All right. So, question is, now assume again here, privatized in India. Ye nahi hai, you can assume a little. Okay. So, should all healthcare services be privatized. Okay, you assume it's in India, written in India now, like Kartikeyan pointed out, and I said, अच्छा ये question banate banate मैंने कुछ उड़ा दिया है शायद. Okay, so what will you say? Yes, it has worked very well in many countries. No, many poor people cannot afford private healthcare. Little bit of general knowledge, little bit of extended logic. Private anything is obviously costlier than public or government service. That need not be written. That you have to do that much you can take for granted. All right. So, what's your answer for question 8? B, B, B. Okay. Now, ये बहुत कॉमन आंसर है आर्ग्यूमेंट में. ओके, शुड universities across India have a grading system instead of marks? Yes, it has worked well in Western countries. Should India have a presidential system of government? Yes, it works well in America. Now, why is this argument not strong? Because the reason given is not strong. Just because it works in other countries, ये critical reasoning का fallacy of reasoning है. It works well in other countries does not mean it will work well for you. So the reason is not logical, not rational. Something that works for A need not work for B. So presidential system has worked for America does not mean it will work well for India. So it has worked well for America. It has worked well in Canada. It has worked well in many countries. Is never a strong argument. And it's often given that it's been very successful there. It doesn't work. All right. And yes, privatization of anything means along with better quality care. So normally private is associated with higher cost and higher quality also. Right? So you're saying no, poor people can't afford it. You have to take it. Yeah, private means costlier. Therefore, I can say poor people can't afford it. So B is the correct answer. Okay. Remember, questioning, counter questioning is not a reason. Should India adopt a presidential system of government? No, why should it? इसमें reason कहाँ दिया गया है? No, why should it? When I started teaching, if people asked me any question, there was somebody forwarded a video to me, a YouTube video, and I laughed. I said, a lot of it I can relate to. So if somebody asked me a question in grammar, imagine you're stepping out of college and suddenly, you know, I'm not an English, like my master's, my subject, my main subject is not English. It's political science and economics. So when I joined by teaching English, because I was studied all my life in an English medium school, and I taught in a community college where first thing they said, teach them English, teach them how to speak correct English, and I loved it. And I decided this is it, this is what I'm going to do. Where cat happened and that happened and other things happened, I got into test prep. Now the question here is, when they would ask me, ma'am, is this a preposition or a conjunction? पता नहीं था तब, उस समय कैसे पता है? You read Renan Martin. Very good question. That's a fantastic question. I'm so proud of you for asking that question. What is the answer? And then hope somebody else will ask a question, you get diverted and not answer this question. But when you're young, you're also foolish enough to think that the student expects the teacher to know everything. When I speak to you now, I'm confident that you accept me as a person with all faults. So if I tell you मुझे पता नहीं है, मैं बाद में चेकअप करके बताऊंगी. That the student will accept, I will accept, because I don't want to teach you something wrong that you'll go and write in the exam. But that wisdom comes only when you get gray hair. All right. Analogies. ये verbal में भी आ सकता है, ये reasoning में भी आ सकता है. If it is just word based as it is in NMAT, then it just tests your ability to know synonyms, antonyms, degrees, collective nouns, and all. And they can put it anywhere. So there's no clear demarcation कि ये logic वाला analogy है, ये vocabulary वाला analogy. Analogy tests both your vocabulary, grammar, logic, everything. All right. So generally they'll either give you like this, a pair will be given to you and you find a pair which shares the same relationship as the given pair, Or they will say complete the analogy. A is to B as C is to, and you only have to fill in one word. So tell me, always remember, don't when you see the question pair, this will work for you for easy, moderate, difficult, all questions. Tell yourself, what is the relationship between war and a pacifist? Spell it out. Just like I'd say, a doctor cures patients just as an artist does something, or a therapist counsels patients, like that. Okay, so form a sentence, then it's easier for you to pick up. War is to pacifist as, I'm getting D and C. What is the relationship between war and a pacifist? A pacifist shuns war. He says no war. He is against war. So basically, a pacifist shuns or avoids war and tells you to shun war. Religion theist. Theist follows religion. A religious person is called a theist. Theos is God. Theist is one who believes in God. All right. A scholar has knowledge. An atheist shuns religion. Pacifies nahi, shuns war. Yeah, he advocates peace and says avoid war. So a pacifist is against war, just like an atheist is against religion or shuns religion. All right, option D. Excellent. Now we come to the main part. Okay, paragraph. एनालॉजीज बहुत टाइप के होते हैं. सिनोनिम हो सकता है, एंटोनिम हो सकता है, डिग्रीज यू कैन गेट. A is to B, less is to more. Artist is to his place of work, artist to his tool of work. All right. Tool, measuring instrument to what it measures. Lots of them. And so a little bit of general knowledge, phobias, manias, depends on the question setter, what he wants to ask. All right. So in critical reasoning, let's look at in critical reasoning, what I taught you in RC takes a back seat. Critical reasoning में पहले question देख लीजिए. What is the question asking? Which of the following best explains the flawed reasoning in the author's argument? What is the flaw? What is you are not weakening the argument, but you're pointing out a weakness. Like for me, you'll say, Savitri ma'am tends to talk too much. You're pointing out a weakness in me. बहुत बोलती है यार, क्रिकेट पे शुरू हो जाती है, बंद नहीं होती. डॉग्स के बारे में बोलती हो तो बंद नहीं होती है. So you are pointing out a weakness of mine. You're not weakening, but you're pointing out a weakness. You have to do exactly. That's the correct thing. All right. So the same thing, read here. There is obviously some flaw here. Find out what is the flaw and which one points out that flaw best. Question 10. Then I'll explain it to you. I don't believe that ambitious people are good parents. Of course, there are some parents who have successful careers and well-raised children. But these parents are not really ambitious. Had they been ambitious, were they ambitious, they could not devote the necessary time and energy to raise their kids well. Past year snap question. Okay. So which one explains the flawed reasoning? Each option you see, negate it when you are reading the अच्छा, कार्तिकेयन एंड गोपी, इनअप्रोप्रिएट स्पेसिफिक्स का मतलब क्या है? इनअप्रोप्रिएट स्पेसिफिक्स का मतलब क्या है? आई एम जस्ट आस्किंग. Okay, okay, let's start with it. Ambitious people, okay, are not good parents. Okay, okay. Some people, okay, with successful careers are good parents. Okay, but they are not ambitious, because ambitious people are not good parents. Of course, some successful people, means ambitious people, are good parents, but they're not ambitious because otherwise they couldn't have been good parents. Two different meanings तो नहीं है. They have given the a word with two different meanings नहीं है. Two things. Ambitious cannot be a good parent. If you say there are some people who have been good parents, then you can't say they are ambitious, because if they are ambitious, they can't be good parents. Has he really, what different meanings has he used? What does inappropriate specific mean? If you're talking of ambitious people not good parents, why are they not good parents? Because they can't give time to their children. इसमें inappropriate तो कुछ भी नहीं है. I'm giving you a reason. Working women are not good mothers. Why? Because they can't give time to their children. तो inappropriate कुछ भी नहीं है यहाँ. Absolute conclusion or relative evidence, I don't know what it means. You tell me. It assumes the conclusion. Ambitious, not a good parent. You are a good parent, then you are not ambitious. Because if you are ambitious, you cannot be a good parent. Bas, yahi point I'm going. This is called circular reasoning, where you assume the conclusion. I gave that example, right? Mrs. Gupta, yesterday's class, so it was in a paid class. I said, Mrs., or I'll say, Virat Kohli does not lie. Uh, Come on. Who told you that? Virat Kohli himself told me this. Ab tell me, what is my evidence? What is my conclusion? एक ही है. I don't lie. Who told you so? I am telling you so. So that's circular logic. You're assuming the conclusion. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Flawed reasoning normally nahi aata. 1 year, 1, 2 years in a snap they did. So if they ask you, you can answer. Find the small weakness that is there. All right. This is the next one. Which one can you say with 100% certainty follows from the information given here? That's the conclusion. So the key here is read the argument 2-3 times so that you understand. Flawed reasoning is any ambitious people can't be good parents. They don't have time to be good parents. Some ambitious people have been, some successful people have been good parents, but they cannot have been ambitious, because ambitious parents are, ambitious people are not good parents. So he's going in a circle. He's not giving me any reason. If ambitious parents people cannot be good parents, how do you explain so many ambitious people who are good parents? Then he's saying, acha, either they are not good parents or they are not ambitious. He's not accepting anything else. That's called circular reasoning. Okay, absolutely anything. Long kahan hai? Isme long nahi hai. It has been just put like this. It has been put. If it is part of Simbi verbal reasoning, आपको 8 ही question आते हैं verbal reasoning में. And they may be less. The key is I am explaining it so that you understand. Taking a classic case of each of the types. Okay? Testing the and this इसको long आप कैसे कहते हो? This is only half a paragraph of your RC. Understood? So symbiosis, the exam goes off very quickly. RC भी नहीं है आजकल symbiosis English में. So the verbal reasoning is what will take you little more time. But remember, out of the 15 questions, 7 will be verbal reasoning, another 8 will be logical reasoning, which will be obviously little tougher than verbal reasoning. Verbal reasoning is always easier than the other. For me, it is okay. 11, let me see the answers. B, 11, B or C. All right, look at this. Testing the reason. So identify the main problem or the main conclusion, that main point that the author is trying to say for you to draw the conclusion. Testing the reasoning abilities of illiterate people has turned out to be challenging for psychologists. Illiterate people also have reasoning abilities. Reasoning abilities are there with everybody. But to test the reasoning abilities of illiterate people is very challenging. Why? Because when illiterate people are given tasks that are designed to require them to reason to a conclusion, they are relatively successful. Okay, you give them a task, so which makes them use reason to come to a particular conclusion. They are successful, but they are successful only in one case, when the mechanical devices used in the test are familiar ones. When you give a reasoning test to an illiterate person, they can reason it pretty well, provided the tool that they are using, the mechanical devices that they are using, they are familiar with those. If the devices used in the test are unfamiliar, then they don't do well in performing these reasoning tasks. All right. So what can you conclude? If you have to test an illiterate person, कौन सा test देना चाहिए आपको? Let's look at it. Reasoning abilities of illiterate people should not be tested using tasks that do not involve familiar devices. What does this question mean? Reasoning abilities, or don't you think what does this sentence mean? When you are testing the reasoning abilities, use devices that they are familiar with. Why do you use devices they are unfamiliar with? तब तो challenge की बात ही नहीं होगी. So all he is doing is changed the order. He has just made this sentence into this. Okay, why not B? Some people have marked B. Literacy is required, but here we are talking about illiterate people. We are not talking about literacy. We are talking about reasoning tests for illiterate people. Obviously, literacy is required. If they are literate, then this problem wouldn't have arisen. We are talking about the challenge in testing the reasoning abilities of illiterate people. So you can't say you have to be literate, literacy is required. We know that literacy is required, but the problem at our hand is how to give reasoning challenges to people who are illiterate. Got it? Is relatively unsuccessful means? Relatively unsuccessful means, why would you first make an unsuccessful test like that? This is very ambiguous. Okay, this is also ambiguous. All right, so the correct answer is A, which many of you got. All right. Okay. हाँ, assumption question हमने पहले एक किया है statement assumption. Now you look at this assumption question. See if it is different. I want you to work it out on your own. Then I'll explain it. Monthly employee evaluations are an excellent tool for managers. With them, employees who are not productive can be removed from the company and efficient workers rewarded, all within the space of a month. The argument logically depends on which of the following assumptions. Question 12. Please give me the question number. Arjun, Surbhi, are those answers to 12 or 11? Vedant, is that answer to 12 or 11? Please give me the answer, question number. When I'm reading from the screen, I'm not seeing your answer. So I don't know when you put up that answer. So I won't know, right? What is the answer to 12? Monthly employee evaluations are an excellent tool for managers. With them, employees who are not productive can be removed from the company and efficient workers rewarded, all within the space of 1 month. Perfect. But what is the author assuming? Okay. Unanimous answer. Everyone got C. Then you have nailed assumption questions. This is a classic assumption question. इसको आपने समझ लिया? The most assumption questions take this structure. तो आपको ये समझ में आ गया, then I can sit back and relax. All right. Now you look at this. The conclusion depends on which of the following means. Again, what is the assumption? A conclusion is always dependent or based on an assumption, right? Read this. A medical team in France, I have changed this from a GMAT question. Okay. A medical research team in France recently discovered that people with or maybe I took it from Snap. Snap may have changed it. I have made it into something else. Okay. Maybe this is a Snap question. Some past year. A medical research team in France recently discovered people with low risk of heart disease tend to also have low stress levels. The team concluded that a healthy cardiovascular system, if you have a healthy heart and circulatory, the cardiovascular system, it could protect people from from the stress of modern life. This is what they concluded. Low risk of heart disease, low stress levels. So they concluded that a healthy heart protects you from stress. The researchers' team depends on which assumption? Question 13. Okay. Most common wrong answer of 13 is B, which all of you have marked. Where have they said that uh, low heart, low risk of heart disease, low stress levels? Okay. Have they said anything about high stress levels? I told you the argument is talking about low risk of heart disease, low stress levels. Healthy heart protects you from stress. The terms of your assumption will also be limited to these. The argument is not mentioning people who have high risk of heart disease. The argument is not mentioning people who have high stress levels. So you have gone beyond the scope of the sentence. Assume means taken for granted. Premise is this. Premise is low risk of heart disease. All right. Also have low stress levels. This is a fact. The researchers have found this. So this is the premise. Okay. From this they concluded, they thought of something here, and based on that they concluded that if you have a good heart, low risk of heart disease, a good healthy cardiovascular system, you can be protected from stress. A healthy heart protects you from stress. Alright, the reason I chose this is another form of assumption question, normally not asked. Okay, they have only found that people who have low risk of heart disease have low stress levels. Okay, these happen together. They're correlated. Low risk of heart disease, low stress levels. Okay, these two conditions occur together. Now so let's call this A, let's call this B. Okay, A and B occur together. They found that people who have A also have this. A and B are found together. Correct? Right? What did they conclude? They said that healthy heart, okay, is the reason for B or protects you from B. Correct? It could be that a healthy heart protects you from stress. So because these people had a healthy heart, they have low stress levels. So a healthy heart leads to low stress levels, or a healthy heart leads to protects you from stress, so keeps your stress levels low. For them to say A leads to B, they have to assume that the reverse is not true. Correct? A and B occur together. इससे उन्होंने conclude किया A causes B. For A causes B to be correct, what is the assumption? B does not cause A. A and B happen together. ऐसा भी हो सकता है A causes B. It could also be B causes A. Now the researchers have concluded A causes B. That means they have said the other one is, they have assumed the other one is not happening. Therefore, the correct answer is stress levels do not cause heart disease. They have said healthy heart protects you from stress. So they are assuming that stress levels do not increase heart problems. So low stress levels can protect you from heart problems. Reverse it, it becomes C. All right. All right. Okay. This is a tough question. 14 होना चाहिए. All right. Okay. Question 14. Question 14 होना चाहिए. It became 13. ठीक है. Let's call it 13. We do not believe 13 is uh, we are not superstitious about the number 13. All right. Did I correct this? इसमें एक गलती था. Hmm. Hmm. I've corrected it. There was a mistake in the answers. When I was solving it, I was looking at it and saying, how did I mark this answer as correct? What went wrong? Then I realized the mistake. No, no, no. They are assuming definitely does not. Only then they say the other one occurs. So assumptions are normally not given in may not. Conclusions you say may not. If I say A causes B, I'm assuming B does not cause A instead of may not cause A. My assumptions are pretty solid. But more and more, because the modern question setters are not aware of the real difference between assumptions and conclusions, I find may in a lot of assumption books, a lot of new questions, even civil services. When I've seen may, and I'm saying, why did you write may there? You can use a stronger statement. Assumptions are pretty solid for you to come to a conclusion. All right. So 14 answer is weaken. How do you weaken? You look at the conclusion and you say that no, the other part is true. Either you say, so the premise and conclusion is there. One way to weaken it is to say the conclusion doesn't follow from the premises. And second, you will say that you are coming to one conclusion. Actually, there is another conclusion possible. There is another thing. All right. So what is the answer for 13 again? Arjun has called it 14. He is a man of numbers. We'll change all the questions then. Okay. Vedant, कौन सा question? इसको हमने 14th कर दिया. So now give me the answer. 14th you're saying is A. Arjun is saying C. What about the others? Navneet is saying कि चलो कोई A और B लिख लो हो गया. No, let's see. Equality of opportunity has been a prominent as a goal in many countries. We want equal opportunities for all the citizens. Take care. In Europe and America, there have always been advocacy of more equality of income. एक तो opportunity है. In Europe and America, there is now a demand for equality of income in addition to opportunities. What is equality of income? The result after tax of what a person gets for his efforts and the yields of his property. Many Western politicians believe that this concept of equality should be implemented in developing countries to speed up economic development. This is the conclusion. Any suggestion, any claim, this is what you have to weaken. Equality of opportunity hai. People now are saying equality of income should be there. And Westerners are saying, yeah, equality of income should be implemented in developing countries for faster economic development. Which one challenges or weakens this most? Faster economic development तो equality of income से नहीं होगा, because faster economic development has happened in many societies due to inequality of income. So you cannot have faster economic development by pushing for equality of income. Excellent, many of you got that right. Oh, okay. Question 15. This is easy. This is from a civil services exam. I took this question. I only created a few assumption questions. So I thought I'll give you, most of it is from past year symbiosis exams. I think I took this from a civil services exam where I didn't find main point ka question. Very often it comes. Okay. Now remember, if sometimes you get a conclusion question which is nothing but a restatement of the main point. Okay. So this is also often asked. Just read, sum up all the points and see which option sums up all the points best. All right. Very dismal paragraph. All bad things about us. All right. Just sum up. It basically says that dekho, nothing is correct and it's affecting our health. Okay. Perfect. 15 is D. I'm not going to spend much time on this. All right. So, did you enjoy the session? Did you learn the basics of CR? Obviously, I cannot revise everything. I tried to give you one of every question type so that you know. You did very well. I think your basics are in place. All you have to do is take the test calmly whenever you have scheduled the exam. Take it and do well. All right. If you